I'd like to welcome everyone to the Krishna Lite Show version 24. In case you're not familiar with us, we've been working from a book written by Kormadas called The Great Transcendental Adventure, which describes the various visits that Prabhupada, our spiritual master, made to Australia to inspire the local devotees there and help build up a foundation of Krishna consciousness in the continent down under. This is between the years of 1970 and 1974. We're using that as a basis for the show, and of course, having been there and participated in most of those activities, it triggers a lot of extra memories from my wife and I, so we can then reminisce as well, stream of conscious type things, and then peppering the show, punctuating it, are my rap songs. I have about 14 rap songs that I use for the Festival of Colors, mostly for the young attendees there. But I like to keep in shape during this downtime, and so I'm using this show as a pretext to keep practicing my rap songs. So let's start with one of them. This is by MC Yogi, and it's from an album called Rock On Hanuman. Hanuman, as you know, is the greatest bhakta, the greatest devotee of Krishna in his incarnation as Lord Ram. Hanuman held nothing back in his undiluted, undivided, uninterrupted bhakti service to Lord Ram. And so here's a medley of songs. The first one is by MC Yogi. The second two are adaptations. I'm not sure who the authors are, the second two. You ready? As we launch Krishna Lite Show number 24. Hanuman Ji, son of the wind, Lord of the monkeys, Rama's best friend. You eliminate illusion, destroy all sin, and you're known as Shiva's incarnation. Champion of truth with a thunderbolt body, the mighty monkey god who embodies bhakti with the breath of Shakti. You achieve victory like the movie Rocky. You carry a club to smash the thugs. You're the perfect servant, the face of grace, and your heart is pure. You make the whole demon race tremble when you roar. In the service of the Lord, you're the demon destroyer, also known as the mighty monkey warrior. Your compassion in action, devotion in motion, with the strength to leap the length of the ocean. Hanuman Ji, you have the power. Make yourself small as a cat, tall as a tower. You devour ignorance, envy, lust, and greed. You succeed and never cower in the hour of need. You leapt to Lanka to reassure Sita, don't worry about a thing, because Rama's going to free you. You burned down Lanka when your tail was on fire, and to serve Lord Rama is your only desire. When Ram's little brother was about to die, without a second thought, you began to fly, searching for a cure high in the Himalayas. And when you weren't sure which herb to take him home, you brought the whole mountain back with one hand. That's why Hanuman, you're Rama's best friend. You embody bhakti, the yoga of love, and that's why Ram gave you a great big old hug. You're the mighty monkey warrior of the epic Ramayana, repeating Ram's names, the holy Ram Nam. Singing kirtan with the cymbals in your hand, going on and on like a one-man band. Singing Jai Ram, Si Ram, Jai Jai Ram, rocking on and on until the break of dawn. Singing Jai Ram, Si Ram, Jai Jai Ram, rocking on and on until the break of dawn. Singing Jai Ram, Si Ram, Jai Jai Ram, rocking on and on until the break of dawn. Hanuman put this prayer to Ram's lotus feet. Dear Ram, take my life and let it be consecrated to thee. Take my moments and my days, let them flow in ceaseless praise. Take my hands and let them move at the impulse of thy love. Take my feet, let them be swift and beautiful for thee. Take my lips and let them sing, always only for my king. Take my mouth and let it be filled with messages from thee. Take my silver and my gold, not a mite would I withhold. Take my intellect and use every power as thou shalt choose. Take my will and make it thine, it shall be no longer mine. Take my heart, it is thine own, it shall be thy royal throne. Take my love, my Lord, I pour at thy feet its treasure store. Take myself and I will be ever only all for thee. Jai Ram, Si Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Jai Ram, Si Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Rocking on and on until the break of dawn, singing Jai Ram, Si Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Long did I toil and found no earthly rest, until at last I sought them in Ram's sheltering breast, who opens his arms and bids the weary come. With Ram I found a home, a rest divine, and I since him am his and he is mine. The good I have is from Ram's store supplied, the ill is only what Ram deems the best. With Ram as friend I'm rich with naught beside, and poor without him though of all possessed. Changes may come, I take or I resign, content while I am Ram's and Ram is mine. Changes may come, but in Ram no change is seen. Ram's like a glorious sun that wanes not nor declines. Ram walks above the storms and clouds serene, and on his devotees inward darkness shines. Well, here, alas, I know but half Ram's love, but half discern him, and but half adore. But when I meet Ram in the realms above, I hope to love him fully, praise him more, and show and tell amid the kirtans divine how fully I am Ram's and Ram is mine. Jai Ram, Sri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, rocking on and on until the break of dawn. Singing Jai Ram, Sri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, rocking on and on until the break of dawn. Another year is dawning, dear Ram, let it be, and working and waiting, dedicated to thee. Another year of deepening trustfulness. Another year of leaning on your sheltering breast. Another year of peaceful, happy rest. Another year of mercies. Another year of faithfulness and grace. Another year of gladness at the shining of your face. Another year of progress. Another year of praise. Another year of proving your presence all my days. Another year of service, of witness to thy love. Another year of training for higher work above. Another year is dawning, dear Ram, let it be, on earth or in heaven, dedicated to thee. Jai Ram, Sri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, rocking on and on until the break of dawn, singing Jai Ram, Sri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, rocking on and on until the break of dawn. Hanuman Ji, son of the wind, lord of the monkeys, Rama's best friend. You eliminate illusion, destroy all sin. You're known as Shiva's incarnation. Champion of truth with the thunderbolt body, the mighty monkey god who embodies Bhakti. You're the breath of Shakti and to achieve victory like the movie Rocky. You carry a club to smash the thugs. You're the perfect servant, the face of grace, and your heart is pure. You make the whole demon race tremble when you roar. In the service of the Lord, you're the demon destroyer, also known as the mighty monkey warrior. Compassion, action, devotion, and motion with the strength to leap the length of the ocean. Hanuman Ji, you have the power. Make yourself small as a cat, tall as a tower. You devour lust, ignorance, envy, and greed. You succeed in never cower in the hour of need. You leapt to Lanka to reassure Sita, don't worry about a thing, because Rama's going to free you. You burned down Lanka when your tail was on fire, and to serve Lord Rama was your only desire. When Ram's little brother was about to die, without a second thought, you began to fly, searching for a cure high in the Himalayas, and when you weren't sure which herb to take him, homie, you brought the whole mountain back with one hand. That's why Hanuman, you're Rama's best friend. You embody Bhakti, the yoga of love, and that's why Ram gave you a great big old hug. You're the mighty monkey warrior of the epic Ramayana, repeating Ram's names, the holy Ram Nam, singing kirtan with the cymbals in your hand, going on and on like a one-man band, singing Jai Ram, Sri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, rocking on and on until the break of dawn, singing Jai Ram, Sri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, rocking on and on until the break of dawn, singing Jai Ram, Sri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, rocking on and on until the break of dawn. Long did I toil and found no earthly rest, and far did I roam and found no certain home, till at last I sought them in Ram's sheltering breast, who opens his arms and bids the weary come. With Ram I found a home, a rest divine, and I since am of his, and he is mine. The good I have is from Ram's stores supplied, the ill is only what Ram deems the best. With Ram as friend I'm rich, with nothing beside, and poor without Ram, though of all possessed. Changes may come, I take or I resign, content while I am Ram's and Ram is mine. Changes may come, but in Ram no change is seen. Ram's a glorious sun that wanes not nor decline. Ram walks above the storms and clouds serene, and on his devotees inward darkness shine. While here, alas, I know but half Ram's love, but half discern him and but half adore. But when I meet Ram in the realms above, I hope to love him fully, praise him more, and show and tell amid the kirtans divine how fully I am Ram and Ram is mine. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Ram, Sri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, rocking on and on until the break of dawn, rocking on and on until the break of dawn. So our first section is going to be read by Bobby. We're up to 1974, page 387, in about a 500-page book. So after 23 episodes, we're coming around the final turn here. Bye, Bobby, you want to come forward, jump in here?
Hi. Right. From Kurma's wonderful book, The Great Transcendental Adventure. Describes that time in Australia from 1970 on. Right now, or in June 1974. Srila Prabhupada was scheduled to perform an initiation ceremony for 6 young devotees early in the morning. So what's happened here in Melbourne is they've had a Rath Yatra festival, a parade. And after that, there's nice ceremonies going on at the temple. And he's going to initiate. Initiation means he's connecting the devotees into the sacred line called parampara, which goes back thousands and thousands of years. So very often Prabhupada would say, you're not serving me, you're helping me serve my guru. And Prabhupada was helping his guru serve his guru, and so on all the way back to Krishna. Prabhupada entered the temple room a little before 7 a.m. A devotee rang a large brass ship's bell suspended from the ceiling, and the folding white doors open, revealing the deity room filled with clouds of fragrant frankincense. Actually, we used to really go wild with the incense. Very often, you couldn't even see the deities when we opened the temple deity room doors, because they were just so full of smoke from the fragrance frankincense that we burned. Prabhupada offered full prostrated obeisances, then stood, glancing lovingly at the deities. So now Prabhupada's quite old. In my old age, it's very hard to get down, even on my knees, and pay obeisances. So we use this COVID time as an excuse not to bow down too often, just to pay our respects, because we don't want to touch the floor and create any virus infections, but also, mainly, it's very hard for us. But Prabhupada, whenever he entered the temple, he would always lie flat. In front of the altar, decorated with lengths of carnation garlands, stood the small deities of Radha and Krishna on a marble platform surrounded by metallic lotus petals. So this is the altar that was made rather artistically by Shyamananda. On the front right side of the altar was a large framed picture of Lord Chaitanya and his associates, and on the left a picture of Srila Prabhupada. We used to paint that. That may or may not have been one of my paintings. I can't remember if that was a photograph or a painting, but I painted, it's called Panchatattva, the 5 expansions of the Lord. And it was very important for us to worship in that way. Behind them stood Radha Ballabha, the beautiful deities of Radha and Krishna that Prabhupada had installed a year before. When we had a festival, Madhavisa suggested we put in the shank eyes made of conch shells, which we used for festivals. And we did that, and those eyes looked very powerful. So after the festival, we took the eyes out, which was pretty normal, but then Krishna looked kind of meek compared with Radharani, who's so beautiful. In fact, her name meant that she was so beautiful she attracted Krishna. So after some discussion, we ended up putting those eyes back permanently. We never took them out again. Some of the deities in India have those big conch shell eyes, and they're very strong. So behind Radha Krishna, on a raised section of the altar, stood Jagannath, Balaram, and Subhadra in their new Rath Yatra outfits. That's the ones that we had made that were like warriors. So Krishna had helmets and breastplates and clubs, and they were very nicely metallized. We found a system of putting them into a kiln of some sort, and then they metallized them so they looked like silver and gold. Prabhupada turned and walked to his seat, briefly lowering his head, and a devotee placed a garland of red roses and camellias around his neck. A large coloured canopy hung from the ceiling above a small brick-bordered central fire. Prabhupada appeared relaxed and jolly as he sat with the morning sun streaming through the yellow curtains behind him as it danced off the stained glass windows above. Madhavisa led a particularly exuberant kirtan, and Prabhupada played kartals enthusiastically, occasionally smiling beneficently at Madhavisa. At the end of the kirtan, Prabhupada spoke encouragingly. So very often in those days, Prabhupada would come at 7 o'clock, pay his respects to the deities, and then lead a class. And his classes every day all over the world were so inspirational. So here's some of the quotes from Prabhupada speaking. The business of a disciple, Prabhupada said, was to please the Guru. If he is satisfied, then Krishna becomes immediately satisfied because he is the agent. That's very easy to understand. Suppose you're working in the office, your immediate boss, the superintendent, if he is pleased, that means the managing director is also pleased. You don't have to please the managing director separately. If you please his representative and the managing director sees the report, yes, this man is working nicely, then he accepts. Pleasing the Guru, Prabhupada explained, means strictly following his orders, especially those given at initiation. So here's initiation ceremony. And Prabhupada speaks, he says, whatever sinful activities you've done, that is squared up. Now your account is closed. Now you begin a new life, a devotional life. So that's the power of the spiritual master. And so it's also very important that one does not take that for granted. Taking initiation means one is clean. But then one doesn't get back into the dirty water again. One stays clean. So there's one young devotee there, his name was Johnny, who had played one of the bass drums enthusiastically during the Rath Yatra parade. He got the name Ramai. Now he's a Swami. A young girl received the name Gunavati. And Prabhupada said, this is a very nice name. It means one who possesses all good qualities. So Gunavati was my particular friend. She was also artistic. And so once we got the new building and we were doing interior decorations with arches and columns and painting, she did the majority of the work. I would paint a flower, let's do this one pink, that one yellow, and so on. But Gunavati was one who diligently pursued the job all the way through. Then we would also go out in the afternoons. We would go to some small town, take a little train out, do some book distribution, and come back. And then Gunavati was excellent in deity worship, and I believe she served the deities in California for many, many years. Then there's Penny. Penny, who had been diligently distributing books for many months, now she received the name Subbalakshmi. And Prabhupada said, as long as you are collecting Lakshmi, you are auspicious. So Subbalakshmi was one of the best book distributors. She would go out on a daily basis and was always successful. But she was full of gusto about everything she did. I remember we were coming together to have different monthly meetings, the book distributors, and one time we had a competition. They had the Gulab Jamun sweet ball eating competition, and Subbalakshmi won the competition for who could eat the most in 1 minute. I think she ate 24 of them. And they weren't just little round ones. They were huge, the size of a peacock egg. So another girl, Caru, she was also a book distributor, equally qualified as Subbalakshmi. She got the name Rajalakshmi. Prabhupada didn't plan to stay for the fire sacrifice after the initiations. He indicated Madhavisha should perform it, and he said, "Can I go now?" He asked that very innocently and rose to leave. Now here's a quote from Ugrasrava, one of the householders, and he accompanied Prabhupada down the front path as they left. Ugrasrava says, "I glanced at the space where Prabhupada's car should have been, and Chidahari had borrowed it, but had not yet returned. I panicked. I had to find a car. The only one available was the old, broken-down blue combi van, which had definitely seen better days. I had to lift Srila Prabhupada into the front seat. The car was in bad condition, and I felt very embarrassed. Perhaps sensing my state of mind, Prabhupada turned to me and grinned. So, this is my new car. I put the key in the ignition, and each time I turned the steering wheel, the horn beeped, and every time I touched the brakes, the windscreen wipers did one full swing. We drove all the way from St. Kilda to Brighton with wipers and horn going. I was in so much anxiety, but Prabhupada thought it was hilarious." So now there's a section from the newspaper, the Sunday Press, which came out after the festivities of the weekend. The Sunday Press, under the head "A Day for Symbols and Chants," gave a favorable description of the previous day's parade. A devotee read Prabhupada the article. He recalled the beautiful statue of Lord Chaitanya carved for the parade. Everything about it, he said, was perfect. "Who has made this?" he inquired. And the devotees informed him that it was Domya. "This boy is very good," he said, and asked someone to bring Domya to his room. The carving of the statue had proved a great technical challenge, and Domya had done much research before attempting the job. His final method had been an ingenious one. He carved the form in separate pieces out of blocks of polyurethane foam. Each section was subsequently painted with a special epoxy resin and cold electroplated to form a beautiful metallic coating. So that was the secret we'd learned. I never found it outside of Australia, that cold electroplating. There was a big cabinet, and the size of the cabinet restricted the size of what you could put into it. So we'd already succeeded in making the big turbans and the breastplates and the weapons with this system for the clothing of Lord Jagannath. So now we thought, let's make a big Lord Chaitanya. And Domya did the carving. We made pieces just the right size for fitting into the cabinet, and then brought them one by one, and the gentleman zapped them with his electroplating. The features were then painted, and long hair and dhoti and shawl and garlands were added, and finally the pieces were joined together with pins and hooks. As Domya entered the room, Prabhupada congratulated him. "This is very good. We should make more like this," he said. Prabhupada complimented Domya on the perfect proportions of the deities. The arms were the correct length, his face was moon-like, and his chest and legs were just right. "You have done very well," said Prabhupada, and he again requested Domya to carve similar statues for use in Rath Yatra parades all over the world. Okay, Caru, it's your turn. Thank you very much for listening. These are really wonderful recollections of the days in Australia.
Thanks, Roy Bobby. We'll start the second section here with a rap song about karma, shall we? Karma. Everything you always want to know about karma. Karma is action, reaction. You sow the seed, you face the deed. Whatever you do comes back to you. The law of cause and effect ensures the balance is perfect, detecting whatever you do, good and bad. It will resurrect. The body may die, but your karma is standing by. You'll be reborn to live and die, continue to suffer and cry. Death is not the end, it's just a bend. Whatever you've done will circle back to you again. As aroma follows the flower, as heat pursues the fire, your karma will track you as soon as you leave the funeral pyre. Karma decides how you'll be reborn, comely or scorned, high or humiliated, straight or deformed, healthy or ill, long or short-lived, animal or human, sheltered or adrift. Karma is what makes the world go round. It's cause and effect right down there on the ground. For those going over and around, up and down, bound by their deeds, drowned by their needs. Is there any purpose to our life on earth? Do we just die and continue to take birth? Is there any escape from the pain of coming back again and again and again and again? You're not the flesh, you're not the mind. Eternal spirit designed in the image of the Almighty Divine, assigned to a service sublime. Attracted by unselfish action, serving the Lord with dispassion. Devoted souls achieve extraction from karmic reaction. If you want to burn up your karma, practice the Dharma, pleasing the Lord, fashioned by His hand. Act according to His plan, and never take birth in this mortal world again. You with me on that? We shape ourselves to joys and fears of which the coming life is made, and fill our future's atmosphere with sunshine or with shade. The tissue of life to be, we weave in colors all our own, and in the field of destiny, we reap what we have sown. We are the living graves of murdered beasts slaughtered to satisfy appetites. We never pause at our feast to wonder if animals like humans have rights. We pray on Sundays to have light to guide our footsteps on the path we tread. We're sick of war, we don't want to fight, and yet we gorge ourselves upon the dead. Like carrion and crow, we live and feed on meat, never considering the pain and suffering we cause. If thus we treat defenseless animals for sport or gain, how can we hope to attain the peace we say we are so anxious for? Cruelty begets its offspring. War. Pandemic. We shape ourselves to joys and fears of which the coming life is made, and fill our future's atmosphere with sunshine or with shade. The tissue of the life to be, we weave in colors all our own, and in the field of destiny we reap where we have sown. Karma is action and reaction. You sow the seed, you face the deed. Whatever you do comes back to you. Law of cause and effect ensures the balance is perfect. Detecting whatever you do, good and bad, it will resurrect. Death is not the end, it's just a bend. Whatever you've done will circle back again. The body may die, but your karma is standing by. You'll be reborn to live and die, continue to suffer and cry. As aroma follows a flower, as heat pursues the fire, your karma will track you as soon as you leave the funeral pyre. Karma decides how you'll be reborn, comely or scorned, high or humiliated, straight or deformed, healthy or ill, long or short-lived, animal, human, sheltered or adrift. Karma is what makes the world go round. It's cause and effect right down there on the ground for those going over and around, up and down, bound by their deeds, drowned by their needs. Is there any purpose to our life on earth? Do we just die and continue to take birth? Is there any escape from the pain? Coming back again and again and again and again? You're not the flesh and you're not the mind. Eternal spirit designed in the image of the Almighty Divine, assigned to a service sublime. Attracted by unselfish action, serving the Lord with dispassion, acting only for His satisfaction, devoted souls achieve extraction from karmic reaction. If you want to burn up your karma, practice the Dharma, pleasing the Lord, fashioned by His hand, acting according to His plan. Never come back to this mortal world again. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. We shape ourselves to joys and fears of which the coming life is made, and fill our future's atmosphere with sunshine or with shade. The tissue of life to be, we weave in colors all our own, and in the field of destiny we reap where we have sown. So that's our second of third of three rap songs. I think I'll finish with one based on the Bhagavad Gita after reading this excerpt from this wonderful book by Kormadas called Great Transcendental Adventure. It's about the visits that Prabhupada made to Australia between the years of 1970 to 1975, and we're already in June of 1974, page 390. Here we go. The Sunday Press, under the heading, quote, "A Day for Symbols and Chants," gave a favorable description of the previous day's parade. As devotees read Prabhupada the article, he recalled the beautiful statue of Lord Chaitanya carved for the parade. Everything about it, he said, was perfect. "Who has made?" he inquired, and asked someone to bring Domya. I think maybe Bobby read this part. Not sure. Let's skip forward here. Let's skip even more forward. Okay, this is a great speaking engagement that Prabhupada gave at a hall in Melbourne called Ormond Hall. Ormond Hall, a large Edwardian-style theater in nearby Prahan, was the venue for Prabhupada's Sunday evening program. The old 1920s-style ballroom had a warm atmosphere and ambience, a large stage, and ample seating, both on the ground and in the dress circles. Devotees danced and chanted in procession all the way from St. Kilda with a large Murti of Lord Chaitanya. Srila Prabhupada was already seated on the stage when the kirtan party arrived. Many of the ground floor seats had been cleared aside, leaving a large area for the kirtan. The deity, temporarily dismantled to fit through the door, was quickly reassembled. That was Lord Chaitanya. Later on, Prabhupada said that shouldn't have been done while people were watching. He said you could have gone in earlier. It was necessary to disassemble the deity, get it through the door. But he thought it should have been reassembled before the program started. Prabhupada directed that the deity be brought to the center of the room. The kirtan continued. The many madanga drums and brass drums pounded out such a beat that practically no one could refrain from dancing. I've always found that having a strong percussion sound is the best way to encourage people to dance. When we do our festival colors, we always make sure that there's that beat, the beat of the drums. Prabhupada appeared very blissful. He smiled with pleasure and played his hand cymbals so vigorously that their strap broke. As the tempo grew, Prabhupada indicated with a circular motion of his hand that the kirtan should circumambulate the deity, slowly at first. Then faster and faster the huge crowd danced, then ran around and around in ecstatic fervor, bringing the kirtan to a frenzied climax. After at least half an hour, the kirtan abated. The atmosphere was spiritually surcharged as devotees and guests sat for Prabhupada's class on the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada said, was the king of knowledge, Raja Vidya. Raja means royal or king. Just as we have seen that there are many palaces or houses in the city, but when we come to a royal palace, that is the best. Of course, nowadays the royal palaces have been abolished. But still, just like in London, we have seen Buckingham Palace. That is the best house in London. Similarly, Raja Vidya. There are different types of education and learning, but this knowledge, which Krishna is now imparting to Arjuna, is Raja Vidya, the king of all knowledge, the best royal education. Spiritual life, Prabhupada explained, could be directly perceived. Just like these boys and girls were dancing and you also join, this is directly connecting with God. They are feeling God consciousness, Krishna consciousness, and therefore they are dancing. It's not that I have come from a foreign country, that I have given them a bribe and they're dancing like dogs. No, this is prachaksab agamam dharmam, directly perceiving the presence of God. So long as they are dancing, they are feeling happiness. Shushukam, very easily and directly perceiving connection with God. Prabhupada indicated the little child, Ugrashav's boy Janak, flushed from dancing, sitting nearby. Prabhupada said, even a child can take. You see this small child? He is offering obeisances, bowing down. He is dancing. He's offering flowers. Just see, from the very beginning of life, not only one child, we've got hundreds of children. They have been trained up. They are becoming godly from the very beginning of life. So our request is that you try to understand this prachaksavagamam dharmam. You can understand it very easily if you simply join with us chanting and dancing. That's all. You don't require MA, PhD. If you are, it is already very good. But even if you're not if you have no knowledge still, if you simply join with us in the chanting and dancing very soon, immediately. So I am blissful. I'm very much thankful that you are joining with this movement every Sunday. This is very easy. You can continue this, and soon you will realize God and your life will become successful. Prabhupada finished his talk. And then there was another exuberant kirtan. Prabhupada prepared to leave. Before exiting the hall, he noticed rows and rows of plates of Ekadasi Prasadam ready to be distributed at the end of the program. Prabhupada asked for a sample plate. Prabhupada tasted a little of each: potato croquettes with chutney, vegetables, tapioca halva with cashews and saffron, and he seemed to like the prasadam. He also expressed his appreciation that such a large feast could have been prepared so soon after the previous day's Rath Yatra parade. Who has cooked? He asked. On hearing that Dwaipayana had been responsible, Prabhupada commended his efforts. Very, very good, he said. Moving forward to another section here. A good press coverage continued. A favorable article appeared in that morning's Melbourne Age, quoting the Reverend Gordon Powell's Sunday sermon at his Scotch church after meeting Prabhupada 2 days before. The article was entitled, "Don't Let Krishna Alarm You," cleric, end quote. This is the excerpt from the article. The sight of Hare Krishna use in Melbourne streets should not alarm Australians or cause them to mock, the Reverend Gordon Powell said in a Scotch church yesterday. He said that the sect could be a sign of the swing of the pendulum back to spiritual values and traditional virtues on the part of modern youth, end quote. The article praised the devotees' reaction against extreme materialism and reported the events of the Rath Yatra parade. Srila Prabhupada took the Reverend's comments as very, very significant. Later, the next morning, a couple of young men from a local yoga ashram came to speak to Prabhupada. I was in the room at that time. They were very respectful. I think they were Self-Realization Fellowship, and asked some good questions, which Prabhupada spent a considerable time answering. This is the dialogue. The young man, "Your divine grace is the purpose of human life to realize God." Prabhupada said, "Yes, that is the only purpose." Young man, "Have you realized God?" Prabhupada said, "What do you think? What is your opinion?" Young man, "I can't say." Prabhupada, "Then if I say yes, what will you understand? If you are not expert, then even if I say, yes, I am God realized, how will you take it as truth? If you do not know what God realization is, and how can you ask this question? And how will you be satisfied by the answer?" And young man, "Well, what is God realization?" Prabhupada, "So you don't know, but you are asking, are you God realized? Therefore you should not put this question. It has no value. A medical man can discuss his qualifications with another medical man in technical terms, but one who does not know the terminology cannot understand. So you should not ask this question unless you're prepared to take whatever answer I give. Are you prepared?" The young man said, "Yes." "Then it is all right. I am seeing God at every moment." Pause. "But unless you are prepared to take the answer, you should not ask such questions." Young man, "Your divine grace, is meditation a means to realize God?" Prabhupada, "Yes, meditation is one means, but you cannot meditate now because you do not know what God is. So how will you meditate? If you do not know what God is, upon whom will you meditate? First of all, you must know God. We know God, Krishna, and Krishna says, "Manmana bhava mad bhakti," always think of me. So we meditate upon Krishna. That's a perfect meditation because meditation means to think of God. But if you do not know what God is, then how will you think of him? Young man, it is written in many scriptures that God is light. Prabhupada said God is everything. God is darkness also. We say God is that person from whom everything comes. So light comes from God and darkness also comes from God. Young man, do you think that meditation is a way to see God inside yourself? Prabhupada, yes, that is a description of meditation. Dhyanvastita tadgatena manasha pashanti yam yogina. By concentrating his mind, the yogi tries to see God within. So you must know what God is. Consider our ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness institution. For example, my disciples know what God is, so they can think of God. But if you have no idea of God, how will you think of him? Young man, this path of devotional yoga, bhakti yoga, is this the path for the present age? Prabhupada, yes. Bhakti yoga is the real yoga. You'll find that when the yoga system is described in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, the first class yogi, yoginamapi sarvasham madgaran tattaradma shadhaya bhajito teme yukta tamamataham. The first class yogi is he who is always thinking of me, Krishna, within himself. So our students are being taught to think of Krishna always, 24 hours a day, without stopping. That is first class yoga. Young man, if you are thinking about something, you have to first see it. Do you show your devotees Krishna? Prabhupada said, oh yes, certainly. Well, what is Krishna? What does he look like? Prabhupada pointing to a picture of Krishna on the wall. Here's Krishna. But that's a painting, the young man said. Yes, it's a painting. But suppose a painting of you were there. Could I not say, here is Mr. Such and Such? Young man, yes. Prabhupada, then what's wrong there? Is your picture not yourself? Young man, yes. Prabhupada, similar to this is Krishna's painting, but the difference is that we cannot talk with your picture, but we can talk with Krishna's picture. That is a difference, young man. But still, somebody must have seen Krishna to actually paint him. Prabhupada, yes. When Krishna was present on this earth, so many people saw him. And since then, there have been so many temples of Krishna's deity, Krishna's form. The same form described in the Vedic literature appeared personally in the devotees' made statues. These forms of Krishna are being worshipped regularly. There are thousands and thousands of Krishna temples. Young man, but has actually anybody seen Krishna? Prabhupada, yes, yes. Just as your father has seen your grandfather, you may not have seen him, but your father can describe him. My father was like this. What is the difficulty? Satsvarup. He asked if anyone now has seen Krishna. Prabhupada. How can one see him now? One has to see through the parampara, the disciplic succession. You have not seen your grandfather, so how do you know who he was? Young man. Your parents told you. Prabhupada. Yes. So you have to receive knowledge about God from the authorities, this chain of disciplic succession. Young man, but supposedly Krishna is eternal, so surely he exists today. Yes, Krishna is existing. At night the sun is existing, but you have no eyes to see it. That does not mean that the sun does not exist. It is your deficiency. You cannot see. Young man, so we need divine sight. Yes, you require qualification to see him. That was the end of that conversation. I was there. It was a wonderful, wonderful conversation. Nice young man. Continuing on here now. Actually, I think we'll leave this for next week. This is the famous engagement at Trobe University. It's going to require a bit of time to explain it. It ended up in a riot through no fault of Prabhupada, the devotees. Trobe University was a hotbed of radicalism in those days, and when we arrived, the hall was packed, and we'd only expected 50 or 60 people, but there were 300 to 400 people in the hall. Every seat was taken to people in the aisles, and we thought, wow, we had no idea that people were this interested in spiritual life. But actually, there probably only were 50 or 60 people who were seriously interested in subject matter, and the rest were provocateurs. They were there to start an incident, and so they got their wish. They made an incident. Probably had to leave the campus precipitously. There was a bit of fisticuffs involved, so if your curiosity is piqued, then join us next week to get all the juicy details of the program in La Trobe University. And that story also is the last public engagement Prabhupada gave during his visit to Australia in June of 1974. So he will depart Australia for other places. And then I think within the entire framework of the book, there's only one more visit from Prabhupada to Australia. So we'll take care of that in the next week or two, and that will do it. We'll might be able to wrap up with approximately 25 one-hour episodes, or the Krishna Lite show. So let's finish this segment with a song about the Bhagavad Gita, shall we? In the Bhagavad Gita, Song of the Supreme, Krishna streams to his team member Arjuna the cream of all the devotees. Arjuna, the things you do every day, the gifts you give in every tasty veggie dish, offer them to me with love and see your soul enriched. A cup of water makes me smile, though I could drink an ocean of flower, fruit, and leaf are fine if they're offered in devotion. Keeping me in the center, your karma will never interfere, because loving devotional service is the dharma of the spiritual atmosphere. I don't play any favorites. Everyone gets what they desire. If someone longs for me in bhakti, I'm naturally inspired. Even if you mess up a time or two, I won't make any complaint. Just rise up again. You can still shine like a saint. The undiluted souls, Mahatmas, know reality, and feeling my protection, the flow of their affection comes to me. They sing my sacred names with voices sweet and stake their rightful claims at my lotus feet. I see, maintain, and shelter all. I am the seed of everything. I'm everyone's best friend. I'm the beginning, the middle, and the end. Arjuna, tell the people boldly, Krishna devotee never dies. Men and women, high and lowly, everybody's equal in my eyes. Anybody who comes to me will never be denied. Bhakti Yoga will set you free. Success is guaranteed. Think of me, become my devotee, and you will live with me eternally. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, 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 Hare Hare. We can throw in a few supportive verses from the Bhagavad Gita if you like. Aham sarvasya mata prabham savartate iti matva vidanti mam buddha bhava samanvita mata pararam yanat kincharasti dhananjaya mayitaram idam sarvam sutramana ganayabam satatam kirtayanto mam yatantas chadri rata namasyantas chamam nityam tasanti charamanti cha patram pusham panam toyam bhakti yome bhakti pirajati tarishnama sharayam atami paryatatmanam yad karosi yadishnasi yazdahosi rasiyat yad tabasasi kantaya tad kurishamadarpanam apichet sararacharo bhajate maman sadareva samanjagya samyak vyasavita mahatmanastu mam parta devam prakritamashira bhajanti ananyamana gyatpa buddhiramabhyam. Now let's get into the Bhagavad Gita itself, the chapter in which Krishna describes his opulences. He's speaking to Arjuna. Arjuna, no truth exists besides myself. Do not be misled. Everything is strung on me as pearls on a thread. I am the taste of the water, the light of the sun and the moon. I am the syllable Om. I am the strength of the strong. I'm the fragrance of the earth. I'm the forest fire, bright red. I'm the blazing sunset. I'm the alphabet from A to Z. I am the seed of everything. From me all things arise. I am the faith of great men. I am the wisdom of the wise. I am the vigor of the strong, not triggered by greed or lust. I am that sex life which is righteous, pure, and just. I am of hymns I am God tree, of seasons I am spring, of months I am November, the time of peace and harvesting. I am Kandarpa, the god of love, like Cupid with his bow. Of cows I am Sarabi, who gives milk and limitless flow. I am the Paramatma. I am the Paramatma dwelling within everyone's heart. I am the life of all that lives. I am the ending, middle, and start. I am the sacred Vishnu and of all sorts of light. I am the stars, the sun, and I am the moon at night. The Himalayan mountains, unshakable, unbreakable, indicate me. I am the unlimited, endless ocean of vegetation. I am the banyan tree. Of beasts I am the lion, of men I am the king. I am Yama, Lord of death, who judges everything. Of weapons I am the thunderbolt, of conquerors I am time. Of rivers I am the Ganges, who flows liquid and sublime. I am the wind that purifies the spirit apart from the flesh. I am logic, pure, concise. I am all-devouring death. All this is but an indication. There is no end to my manifestations. Every opulent and glorious creation springs from but a spark of my radiation. What need, Arjuna, to go on with a more exhaustive list? A tiny spark of me pervades all that exists. Since I create the dual worlds of spirit and flesh, the wise prioritize my service, keeping their hearts ever fresh. My pure devotees think of me and follow me all the time, discussing me incessantly. I am theirs and they are mine. Because they serve with love and never swerve aside, from within their hearts I cause ignorance to subside. The wattage of knowledge I shine from within so bright, and in deep parental affection guide them to the light. Tesham evanukam partam mahamagunam nisyami atmabhavishto gyanadipana bhashvatam satatam kirtayanto mam yatantas yidava namasyantas namam nitam tasanti chara manticha makchidama gata pranabodhyantas parasparam katayantas chamam nityam tasanti chara manticha. Sri Krishna, your pure charisma, your flute playing is so intoxicating, singing your song down in Vrindavan, pleasing the devotees and all the bhakti yogis, chanting gopis. In a trance you dance the divine romance of Rasa Lita with Radharani. In the Bhagavad Gita you teach us bhakti. Your divine pastimes are so sublime. They refresh the heart and fill the mind, giving relief just like the monsoon after the lingering heat. You lifted a mountain with your little finger, the sweet butter thief known as Baby Gopal, the killer of Kamsa, the lover of Radha. Your complexion's dark blue, just like the ocean. I offer my devotion with all of my emotion. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Sri Krishna, your pure charisma, your flute playing is so intoxicating, singing your song down in Vrindavan, pleasing the gopis and all the devotees, and chanting the bhakti yogis. In a trance you dance a divine romance, a Brasalita with Radharani. In the Bhagavad Gita you teach us bhakti. Your divine pastimes are so sublime, they refresh the heart and fill the mind, give relief just like the monsoon after the lingering heat. You lifted a mountain with your little finger, the sweet butter thief known as Baby Gopal, the killer of Kamsa, the lover of Radha. Your complexion's dark blue like the ocean. I offer my devotion with all of my emotion. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We'll finish off this Krishna Lite show, episode number 23. With the Madhur Astakam. Madhur means sweet. Astakam means 8 verses. Originally composed by Vallabhacharya about 500 years ago. The sweetness of Krishna. First the English and then we'll do the original. Your lips are sweet, your face is sweet, your eyes are sweet, your smile is sweet, your loving heart is sweet, your walking is sweet. Everything is completely sweet about the Lord of Sweetness. Your words are sweet, your personality is sweet, your garments are sweet, your posture is sweet, your movements are sweet, your surroundings are sweet. Everything is completely sweet about the Lord of Sweetness. Your flute playing is sweet, your footprints are sweet, your hands are sweet, your feet are sweet, your dancing is sweet, your friendship is sweet. Everything is completely sweet about the Lord of Sweetness. Your singing is sweet, your drinking is sweet, your eating is sweet, your sleeping is sweet, your rupa, your form is sweet, the tilak, the mark in your forehead is sweet. Everything is completely sweet about the Lord of Sweetness. Your deeds are sweet, your conquests are sweet, your thieving of hearts is sweet, your loving relationships are sweet, the things that are offered to you are sweet, your countenance is sweet. Everything is completely sweet about the Lord of Sweetness. Your necklace is sweet, your flower garland is sweet, your river Yamuna is sweet, her rippling waves are sweet, her waters are sweet, her lotus flowers are sweet. Everything is completely sweet about the Lord of Sweetness. The gopis, your cowherd girlfriends are sweet, your leelas, your pastimes are sweet, your meetups are sweet, your adventures are sweet, your sidelong glances are sweet, your manners are sweet. Everything is completely sweet about the Lord of Sweetness. The gopas, your cowherd boyfriends are sweet, the cows are sweet, your walking stick is sweet, your unlimited creation is sweet, your heroism is sweet, your victories are sweet. Everything is completely sweet about the Lord of Sweetness. Everything is completely sweet about the Lord of Sweetness. Adaram, madaram, badaram, madaram, nayaram, madaram, asaram, madaram, radiam, madaram, gamanam, madaram, madadari, baterakaram, madaram, vacharam, madaram, charitam, madaram, vasaram, madaram, bamitam, madaram, bamitam, madaram, brahmitam, madaram, madadari, baterakaram, madaram. Veno madaram, reno madaram, panimana, paro madaram, netam madaram, sakyam madaram, madadari patyarakaram madaram, hitam madaram, pitam madaram, bhaktam madaram, saptam madaram, rupam madaram, tirakam madaram, madadari patyarakaram madaram, karanam madaram, taranam madaram, haranam madaram, ramitam madaram, bamitam madaram, samitam madaram, madadari patyarakaram madaram. Gunjam maradam, alam maradam, yamanam maradam, vichim maradam, salilam maradam, kamanam maradam, maradadi paterakaram maradam, gopi maradal, yala maradam, yoktam maradam, maktam maradam, distam maradam, sistam maradam, maradadi paterakaram maradam, gopa maradam, gavo maradam, yastir maradam, sistir maradam, dalitam maradam, palitam maradam, maradadi paterakaram maradam. Your lips are sweet, your face is sweet, your eyes are sweet. Your smile is sweet, your loving heart is sweet, your walking is sweet. Everything is completely sweet about the Lord of Sweetness. Your words are sweet, your personality is sweet, your garments are sweet, your posture is sweet, your movements are sweet, your surroundings are sweet. Everything is completely sweet about the Lord of Sweetness. Your flute playing is sweet, your footprints are sweet, your hands are sweet, your feet are sweet, your dancing is sweet, your friendship is sweet. Everything is completely sweet about the Lord of Sweetness. Your singing is sweet, your drinking is sweet, your eating is sweet, your sleeping is sweet, your rupa, your form is sweet, the tilak, mark in your forehead is sweet. Everything's completely sweet about the Lord of sweetness. Your deeds are sweet. Your adventures are sweet. Your thieving of hearts is sweet. Your loving relationships are sweet. The things that are offered to you are sweet. Your countenance is sweet. Everything's completely sweet about the Lord of sweetness. Your necklace is sweet. Your flower garland is sweet. Your river Yamuna is sweet. Your rippling waves are sweet. Your waters are sweet. Her lotus flowers are sweet. Everything's completely sweet about the Lord of sweetness. The gopis, your cowherd girlfriends are sweet. Your leelas, your pastimes are sweet. Your meetups are sweet. Your conquests are sweet. Your sidelong glances are sweet. Your manners are sweet. Everything's completely sweet about the Lord of sweetness. The gopis, your cowherd boyfriends are sweet. The cows are sweet. Your unlimited creation is sweet. Your walking stick is sweet. Your heroism is sweet. Your victories are sweet. Everything's completely sweet about the Lord of sweetness. Everything's completely sweet about the Lord of sweetness. In the Bhagavad Gita song, the Supreme Krishna streams to his team member Arjuna, the cream of all the devotees. Arjuna, the things you do every day, the gifts you give, and every tasty veggie dish, offer them to me with love and see your soul enriched. A cup of water makes me smile, though I could drink an ocean of flower, fruit, and leaf are fine if they're offered in devotion. Keeping me in the center, your karma will never interfere, because loving devotional service is the dharma of the spiritual atmosphere. I don't play any favorites. Everyone gets what they desire, so if someone longs for me in bhakti, I'm naturally inspired. Even if you mess up a time or two, I won't make any complaint. Just rise up again. You can still shine like a saint. The undiluted souls, Mahatmas, know reality. Feeling my protection, the flow of their affection comes to me. They sing my sacred names with voices sweet and stake their rightful claims at my lotus feet. I see, maintain, and shelter all. I am the seed of everything. I am everyone's best friend. The beginning, the middle, and the end. Arjuna, tell the people boldly, Krishna's devotee never dies. Men and women, high and lowly, everybody's equal in my eye. Anybody who comes to me will never be denied. Success is guaranteed. Bhakti Yoga will set you free. Think of me, become my devotee, and you will live with me eternally. Think of me, become my devotee, and you will live with me eternally. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you so much for being with us. Krishna Light Show Reminiscences of the Satguru, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and his various visits to Australia in the early years, as well as rap songs about spiritual life and bhakti yoga. Thanks so much for joining us. Till we meet again, don't forget to chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.